Hey everyone, welcome to my new career classic. This is Charlie's story. He heard a famous publisher wanted to sign him, but sadly never saw the contract. Meanwhile, over here, after an epic fail, Josie is trying to hitch a ride out of town, and guess what? He actually hails like the driver is a grandpa with hair like a melting ice cream. After hearing Josie's plans, he's thinking it's the perfect time to swap some cash, but Grandpa suddenly says he needs to get out to check. Meanwhile, Josie pulls out his special drink from his pocket. Clearly, this old guy is set to be Josie's next victim, but little does he know, Grandpa's checking on something a bit more unfriendly. This old man is the police's top serial killer. Two killer generations meet in a car. Who will laugh last? The director leaves it a mystery. After watching, this is definitely the most underrated Spanish mystery film ever. It's incredibly mind-bending. This film is packed with complex mathematics and philosophy. Honestly, it left me feeling like my IQ took a hit. This movie is called Deep Dog. No more teasing, let's dive into how it leaves audiences completely mind-blown. Audiences were amazed, and the ending twist left many in disbelief, shouting, "What?" That was just the beginning. Martin, our hero, obsesses over top math master Professor Arthur. He ditches all for his idol, racing to Oxford. Upon his arrival, he learns Professor Arthur no longer takes students and is completely fish food in research. Martin's hard, but he doesn't give up. One day, while Martin is bathing, Beth, his landlord's daughter, excitedly announces the professor's press conference. Martin decides to seize the chance to meet his idol and rushes to the event. Upon arrival, he's amazed by the professor's theory. It's unlike the professor he imagined, leaving him utterly deflated, a huge mistake to sail across. Engulfed by despair, Martin returns to pack for America, only to meet the professor at the door. Both are surprised to reunite, learning the professor visits a friend who turns out to be Martin's landlord's wife. Martin follows the professor inside, only to find a shocking scene. The landlord's wife is dead in there, and it's utterly chilling. The professor rushes to check, finds blood on the corpse. Martin spots a bloody pillow nearby and the intensity rises. The professor deduces the killer suffocated the old lady with a pillow during her nap, breaking her nose too hard. It's clearly a murder. Martin immediately dials the police, and things are getting messier. As the only witness, Martin and the professor are brought to the police station. The detective starts by questioning Martin about why he was at the scene. Martin says he's a tenant there and ran into the professor by chance, but then the professor's response is a real knee-slapper. The old professor claims he was at the scene because the killer sent him an invitation. What a plot twist. Apparently, he received a note during his speech stating sequence 1, and it's getting weirder. Below that line, the address of the old lady is written, and the professor tossed it like it was junk. He thought it was just yet another boring note, but upon reflection, it turns out to be his long-lost friend's address. So, curious, he decides to check, only to find his friend's spouse has mysteriously passed away. This shocks everyone. The professor suspects the note, leading to a bigger mystery. He theorizes it's more than a simple note, but a logical symbol, yet the judge is completely baffled. The judge inquires with confusion, what is the connection between sequences and murder? The professor confidently and coherently explains his theory, leaving everyone deep in thought and stimulating further contemplation. The killer wants to prove he's smarter than me and even embarrass me more. What an arrogant punk. He knows about my relationship with that lady, so he naturally wants to start here. This is truly puzzling. The deduction ties together perfectly, and it seems like a brilliant clue has emerged. Is there going to be another murder? I've got a bad feeling. Why can't he just... Leaving the police station, Martin exclaims, if the killer wants to prove he's smarter than the professor, maybe he didn't intend to kill. He wouldn't target here. He'll go after someone of higher value. That's some next-level reasoning. If the logic holds, the next target must be more valuable. Martin's theory has piqued the professor's interest. However, the current clues appear worthless until Martin hears that the professor often visits a sick patient in the hospital. A bold idea strikes him. Next day, he follows the professor to the hospital, orchestrating a clever meet-cute. Surprise! The professor is actually visiting one of his students, a poor little patient. Once his pride and joy, the student has become a total mess from obsession with research. It's a heartbreaking sight. Ever since that crazy experiment, he's lost the ability to think. It's such a tragedy. Meanwhile, Martin heads back to the library searching for clues. At the library, Beth, Joseph's landlord's daughter, confronts Martin about last night. Martin's confused. Beth speaks weirdly, then storms off in a huff. Confused Martin rushes after her, but as he steps outside the library, he spots a note pinned to the door. The note bears a strange symbol and the address of the professor's student. Things aren't looking good. Martin realizes the killer might strike again, targeting the professor's student. He urgently calls his girlfriend. But it turns out the professor's student isn't in danger. Someone else at the hospital is in trouble. What a mess this is.